Okay, I think we can start. Let me just stop the music. So hello everybody, we are at our monthly community meetup with some exciting news because we are going to present PROCESIO 2.0. As always, I have with me Mihai, who is the CEO co-founder, Marian, who is the co-CEO, and Andrei, who is the master behind the product. He is going to present us a lot of new things, the features, and how these features is going to impact the business. I think, so yes, it's all about, I have a nice cover here, it's all about PROCESIO 2.0. We have a short outline, just because we want to speak a lot about PROCESIO and what the new platform is bringing to the customers and to the user experience. So, Andrei, you have the floor.
Okay, thanks Răzvan for the introduction, and as mentioned, we are in a group here, so we have Mihai Marian with us, so that's definitely great. And today we are going to talk about PROCESIO 2.0, which is finally out there, and we want to share with you some of the great UI UX improvements that we brought since we last met. But it's actually, I would say, a whole new different level, next level experience, you name it. So let's dive into it. Probably one of the first questions that should pop to mind is, what can you do with PROCESIO? Like, what is PROCESIO doing for you? And in my opinion, besides automating those repetitive tasks, PROCESIO can handle business logic. And by handling business logic, we mean all those complex integrations that your company uses, that your software in the company uses, PROCESIO can handle. And by the way, it cannot only handle it, it can handle it via, in our opinion, a great user experience UI. And while having this user experience, we obviously are going to experience some of it today, but not only today, I urge you to also experience it by yourselves. But besides this, while having such a great user experience, we believe we never make compromises. So by saying this, what we are trying to say is, like, it's not only about having a great user experience, which by the way, you do have while using PROCESIO, but it's also about being able to do whatever crosses your mind and whatever complex integrations you have to do within your company. So in my opinion, this is PROCESIO about, as a quick intro.
I would add, Andrei, if I may, that it's not just about integration, it's about process automation as a whole, because the purpose for somebody to integrate systems together is to automate stuff, right? Because currently people are the ones that integrate systems, taking data from one system to the other manually, wasting time, wasting resources, wasting their life doing that, right? And sometimes they do it in the weekend as well and working late hours to do that. But now they can use PROCESIO to automate those tasks and to allow them to have the time to do some more value-added stuff than just move data.
Exactly so. And to add on top of that, as I previously mentioned, they can do this while using a great user experience. And this is what we believe and we are trying to emphasize today. So first of all, from PROCESIO, we are going to show you some of the new features, but besides the new features, we also want to excel on showing you today the user experience. So first of all, by the way, right now I'm on the PROCESIO canvas. This should be already familiar to you. And for this demo, I thought about showing converting to a date from a string. So that's one of our new actions. This is actually why I'm configuring this on the screen. And while obtaining the date from a simple string, we also want to, I didn't get the correct one, we also want to obtain the year out of it. So I'm going to show you how simple it is to do something like this in PROCESIO. So first of all, I dragged and dropped my actions on the canvas. By the way, let's do task complete complete the task and give it also a name.
Well, Andrei, you're doing this. A few words from myself, allowing you to focus on what you're showing.
So.
The idea of this demo is that generally when you try to build processes, you are going to work with dates a lot, right? So generally inside companies, you have a lot of information traveling from one system to the other, and most of those information also contain a field of date, a timestamp or something, allowing you or allowing the systems to map that information and to know that that date was produced or was modified at a certain period of time. And for that reason, this demo is relevant for you to know how you might be able to do that in PROCESIO. Now, Andrei, back to you. Tell us what you've been doing. So I see you have created a variable.
Exactly, right? So one of the things that I want to show, the first variable is a string, which we put a default value, a date inside it. And the second variable is going to be the converted date to a datetime variable. It's going to be of type output. And what I'm trying to showcase over here is the fact that when I do this, there is an auto assign. So I press the plus over here, my variable was created and in the auto assign. So quite easy, quite fast. Nothing too special. We will be able to depict this behavior once I'm also configuring the next action. So let's do that. So my first action is configured. My second action will be configured. So now I want to extract from the string only the year. And in this case, I'm going to select over here out of the datetime. We just converted that string to a datetime. This is what we do. And out of here, we want to extract the string to an int. And I'm going to create a new variable. Look, I just clicked to create a new variable. My variable menu popped up. Pretty simple.
So the idea is that if we imagine a normal business process data coming from one system to the other, that data is generally, that information that passes from one system to the other is generally text, right? And it sits in different formats. And what we're doing here is converting normal text in a simple format or whatever format, and we're converting it to a strong type date time format, right?
Exactly.
Where you could use that to make calculations like date time difference or things like that. We're extracting the year as Andrei is showing right now.
Exactly so. And over here, I would emphasize on the fact that right there, right now out there on the market, there are a lot of OCR software that probably try to deal with dates in a string format, and you need to convert those. So this is what we are showcasing here. Additionally to that, I also want to point out another feature, namely, I won't run the process yet because I also want to be notified at the end of a process. So by this, how do you do this in PROCESIO? Quite easy. You go over here, you set this, you're prompted to ask on which email address you want to be notified at the end of a process and in which cases.
Why do you need this, Andrei? Is this important or not?
Definitely, it's top important. First of all, we just had Easter holidays, and let's say something crashes, something is urgent, and you don't want to, I don't know, you don't want to log in every 5 minutes to check if all your systems are working or not, or if all your processes. And this is one of the methods of you being notified on everything working properly or not. On top of that, please add, because probably you're thinking also about other use cases where this is very useful.
Yeah, so let's imagine different complex processes that might fail, or one system might fail, or you will not be able to connect to one system or the other, and you want to be notified when that happens. That might be important for your business processes.
And we all like notifications.
Good point.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. So I want to show you on the screen what happened right now. So over here, we had a string as a date. We converted it to a date, and out of the date, we obtained the year and converted it to an integer. And additionally, by the way, we received an email. And while we received this email, this email kind of enables you to quickly navigate where you need to go. So by clicking on check instances, you would actually easily access your instance and be right where we ended. And additionally, let's say something might have gone wrong because you would have been notified in case of an error. You can go back to the process and resume editing. So the purpose of what I was showing you over here is the easiness and the quickness of building such an integration, like working with dates. On top of that, we are going to move to something a bit more complex, namely 2 data models. And I'm not sure if you still remember, but I was showing something on my roadmap for quite a long time. And by this, I'm referring to being able to auto-generate data models. And we will also...
I will add up to the fact that we move to something complex, made easier in PROCESIO, right?
Exactly so, something more complex because we are using abstractization. And this is something that I want you to depict, and later on we will also discuss based on it. So let's go simply to data model and check the new options of working with the data model. So first
just want to clarify something. As you prepare, Andrei, you can prepare, as I said, a few things. The idea is that, again, because we are integrating stuff and between systems, data is passing, information is traversing those systems. This information generally have these different types of structures, like this one that you see here, right? We call this data model. In order to manipulate that information and to extract data from that information, we are using what we call data models. It's a standard term. We did not invent this, but we are taking very much use of that. And you could use that inside processes to model the data, to extract the data out of the information passing from one system to the other. And you could do it that easy. Andrei,
exactly.
Sorry, it took longer.
Yeah, no worries, because it was good what you said over there. And by the way, this is how system behind the scenes communicate. This is what you see on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, this is the abstractization of it. And we built this using a hierarchy. So when I'm going to hit create, we created our data model. We see the data model. It was abstractized, and we have the hierarchy view. Simple as that. Now let's use this within a process to prove to you the usefulness of it. Like, we imagine right now that we are connecting 2 different systems or something like that. So let's go within a process. Demo JSON was the data.
Meanwhile, I want to add up that this took less time for Andrei to create and generate the data model than Mihai to explain it, right?
Exactly.
So that proves the efficiency of PROCESIO.
Now, Andrei, what you're doing right now, it's actually using the data model that you just created, right?
Exactly so. And I'm also going to use it as an input. And right now we're going for a bit more complexity, but just bear with me, because you're going to notice immediately what we are going to do. We are going to use a decisional action. And then we are also going to use 2 simple use cases. Like on the right side, on the top side, we are going to do an add operation. And on the bottom side, we are going to do a subtract operation. Then we are going to join the...
So what I think you are now doing is taking decisions based on the data that is traversing systems, right? So
exactly so.
Cool.
Pinpoint. Exactly, this is what I'm trying to simulate. And I'm also trying to simulate this, how easy it is to do this. So first of all, we have the add operation, simple to configure. We need the first number, the second number, and the result. I'm going to configure it pretty fast. So I hit create. I give some variable. It's going to be a default value 1. Auto assigned. It already assigned over there. Second number. Also of type int. Also giving it a default value auto assigned. Result, which is my
Andrei,
last variable.
It's visible you are really proud of auto assigning the variable as you
created.
Yeah,
definitely so, because to me it saves time as a developer. If I use hotkeys and I can do this a lot faster, then yeah, that saves time in the end. Besides that, we also implemented some searches and so forth. This is going to be of type output, so bear with me. Okay, so I have my first action already configured. Now I'm going to configure my second action, which is using the same numbers. First now. End result. All right. And now we have the two actions configured. Now we have to take a decision based on when do we want to go on the upper branch or on the lower branch. So first is going to be when do I want to execute the additional operation, like that operation. And my condition will be based on the data model age, namely if the age is greater than or equal to 20, then we are going to perform an add operation. On the lower branch, if the condition is the age is lower, less than 20, we are going to perform a subtraction operation.
Now, why this is important and why Andrei is showing this is because generally inside the processes, you take a lot of decisions, right? So, for example, if something happens within a process, it needs to trigger a different type of action inside the process than if it would have had another output, right? So in this case, Andrei, you take a decision based on the age of a person.
Exactly so. And this is actually how system communicates. So for instance, from one system, this is what is going to be sent to PROCESIO based on this variable, but it could have been something else. In our case, is the age. We are going to take a decision what to do. And this is what I'm trying to simulate right now. So I'm going to hit run.
I will adapt that what Andrei showcased. It's like a manual running with a copy and paste of that payload data model, but that information will be sent automatically by the system.
Behind the scenes, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Cool. So that's going on the upper level. Let's just for the sake of showing everything from start to finish, we can also show the decisional when it goes on the lower branch, namely when this is going to go on the lower branch. So you have to imagine systems communicate in milliseconds. So this could happen. You don't have to do this. It could happen in the background pretty fast. You don't have to wait for it.
Exactly.
Exactly like that. And by the way, you can be notified at the end if something went
also
wrong. Exactly.
Really cool. Perfect.
All right. On top of that, I know Mihai that sorry, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I wanted to add something. Ilir, I think I hope I said the name right, asked us if we support whole table inside the data model. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. And by the way, we as showcased, I'm going a bit back to the data model because I'm really proud of it. As showcased, we support now auto generation of data model from a JSON. I just showed that on screen. Why JSON? Because RESTful API communicate with JSON. It's as simple as that. We probably in the near future are going to support XML, whatever is needed, SOAP APIs, whatever, we name it. And the question is why APIs? I know Mihai has something in there, but let's first do something else. We leave this discussion for later on, I would say.
Yeah, and Ilir added on top of that question, so you can emulate tests inside PROCESIO also. Yes, we can. And even more so, we are using PROCESIO to test PROCESIO. So you can test APIs, you can test systems, you can test processes, you can even test your own custom actions inside PROCESIO and schedule them to run periodically or trigger them from other systems or whatever. You can imagine it. And if you can imagine it, then you can build it.
Exactly so. All right, now I was going to move towards the discussion because we brought some new actions, and some of those actions, one of them I just showcased, namely converting from a string to a date, but there are some other useful actions that we brought in PROCESIO 2.0. And these actions are Excel action and SQL actions. And I know that already Mihai, for at least he was pushing for these actions for a long time. That's one of the point. And I know that he was also supposed to build something with those actions. That's why we actually built them. So Mihai, are you going to take over the screen and show us a glimpse of what you built for a client?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, please tell me if you see my screen.
Yes.
Just checking. Good. So what I've built here is a very simple process. Again, I've used the decisional just to do some formatting here. But the true power of this process is it lies within the SQL action. And the purpose of this process was to get data from a database, from the billing system, extract it, put it into an Excel file, attach it in a list of attachment, and send it to the accounting system, to the accounting company. This scenario is a real case scenario created for one of our clients. And what it does, it actually eliminates the need for manually doing this operation every month, right? And it puts the data in a predefined format so the accounting can import that information. This could have done probably even easier if those two systems had API connections. But if they didn't have API connections, then you can automate it directly connecting to the database. And now let's see how this looks like. You just need to define the credential for the database that you want to connect to, and then you write the SQL query that you need to execute and basically store the information that comes out of the database in a list of whatever. It can be a JSON, it can be a data model as Andrei showcased, it can be anything. So now, Ilir, to your question, in order to store a table, you needed to define it as a list, right? And then it is a table. And also you could test it. So let's test it.
So to date, everything is about dates.
Absolutely. As you could see here, it's an object, but is a list of objects. Right? And that list of objects ends up in an Excel file, which you can give it a name. You just put the variable with the data inside the Excel action, which generates the Excel. And this is the variable that stores the Excel file, and then just send it via email. That's it. Yeah, really that simple. So now imagine all the use cases that this simple SQL action opens up. All the processes that now you can address using PROCESIO, right? So basically every action that we have built so far, and there are more than 100 actions predefined available inside PROCESIO, every and each one of them opens up new possibilities for you to build processes to automate stuff for you and your company, obviously.
There is one question, I think, from Ilir, namely, if you are building your Excel file in PROCESIO too.
Absolutely. We are building that in PROCESIO, and this is the action that does that. It just takes it puts the column names, the same names that the columns from SQL in this case are. And also you can use PROCESIO to manipulate the Excel file. Andrei, did you have that in plan to showcase today?
Not really, but I have it prepared as always. You have to be prepared. On the other hand, I first wanted to show the SQL action that you just configured in the folder. If you can showcase them a bit on screen. I mean, in the action bar.
You mean here?
Exactly so. Yes.
Yeah, so you can query or you can set the command.
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to mention. We have two actions. One of them is querying a database and you wait for the response. And the other one is executing commands on the database. So you can perform commands to the database from PROCESIO. Mihai.
Cool. So again, regarding the Excel, I said that we also have actions. We have introduced actions that you could use to manipulate the Excel file, from creating worksheets, changing the sheet's name, inserting new sheets, renaming the sheets, deleting the sheets, applying formulas, copy pasting, getting a named range or something like that. So you can manipulate and do all sorts of stuff with the Excel. Including formulas, obviously. And to your question again, you can also generate PDFs. You could generate HTML files, and you could use those to attach to emails or send via API calls, or use the HTML body to send it within an email. We have document designer where you could design the template, just copy paste it from Word, and use that inside your processes. You could use JPEG files. You could use all sorts of stuff.
Yes, exactly. So probably, I'm not sure if Ilir got to see our document designer, but definitely if you didn't get to see that, go search it up, because I know you can go sign up for free, look a bit around, because we can generate dynamic documents based on outputs from within a process. So that's pretty cool. And by the way, those the document designer supports generation of dynamic tables, and it's crazy. Let's put it like that. What we can do with the document generator.
Crazy good.
Crazy good, exactly. So.
Cool.
All right. Besides this, we had in plan, I'm not sure, we are almost closing to an end. We had in plan to also discuss a bit further the chatbot. I'm not sure if we are going still to do that. If we are not going to do that, I would propose to have a quick look on the roadmap, what's coming next.
I can showcase the chatbot. I can do it really quickly. I know I had 5 minutes.
Let's do it.
I can do it faster than that.
Yes.
So if you guys remember from the last time we've met, I've surely showcased the fact that within 4 hours, I've built a fully functional conversational chatbot inside PROCESIO. And this is how it looks like from a high level view. You could zoom in and see the details. Here, I've made a video. We've put it on YouTube explaining. It's a 20-minute video explaining it, taking you from one step to the other, explaining every step of the way what I've done here. And for now, I've also expanded this chatbot, and it does really cool stuff for us. For example, this branch, we're using it internally to send intros to our prospects, right? It generates email, it sends the email directly to this prospect. And this branch, I can showcase it right now. And the way I'm doing it is, and by the way, what it does, it connects to the HR software, and based on my query, based on the things that I'm writing here, he checks a certain employee to see how many vacation days he has left to take, right? So let's see, Andrei, how many vacations days do you have to take?
Hopefully 2 months.
yeah, you have a lot. I assume
Barcelona.
that you have. I assume you have a lot of vacation days because you didn't took. How many vacation days does Suchan have left? Right. So let's see what happens.
I'm curious.
So let's see what happens. First of all, what I'm expecting is to give me a feedback that he took the commands or it took the command. And then after it processed my command to actually see. So Andrei, you have 28 vacation days left for this year. So you'll have
goodbye.
one full month of sunny beaches and things like that.
Yeah. Definitely sounds like a good idea, to be honest. And by the way, it's a cool integration. I will have one question, and namely, I assume this. I actually know. I don't assume this integration was done via APIs, RESTful APIs. Now the question is PROCESIO only about APIs or not? And that's a question for me. Yeah.
PROCESIO is not just about APIs. We are continuously adding capabilities to integrate with other stuff. Obviously, we are mostly using APIs, but as we've discussed a few minutes ago, we introduced SQL, we introduced Excel, we introduced FTP. We are continuously adding new capabilities, and you can build stuff for yourself to integrate via other methods to whatever you want to integrate with. So PROCESIO, it's an environment, it's a tool where you could virtually build whatever crosses your mind. Does that answer your question, Andrei?
Yeah, definitely so. And I cannot say anything less of PROCESIO because I know what we are working. And as mentioned, now it's about RESTful APIs. Probably a few weeks ahead, it will be also about XML, SOAP, and whatever needs we need to deal with within PROCESIO. So I totally agree.
So there is another question for you guys.
Yeah. So in terms of integrations with other platforms, what are some of the integrations? Do you plan to add other platforms? Yes, we are planning to add other platforms. We are also planning to add some predefined connectors within PROCESIO. Currently, we have built everything to offer full flexibility, right? So full flexibility also means that you will have to configure yourself if you want to connect to some software. It gives you the flexibility to connect to local software, to software that you've built yourself or software that the local vendor has built, right? And we are planning to add predefined connectors to that. If you haven't got an account by now, create an account. You will see a demo process inside your environment. And there we're going to start to add new processes, new connections, new stuff with time.
Exactly so. So definitely that's also one of the cool features that we built in PROCESIO 2.0. We didn't showcase it because all of you guys that are signing up starting from now, you will receive a process within PROCESIO, which is already pre-configured for you to give you a head start, and you just have to simply run it. It also leverages our document designer, so you can definitely see how document designer works. So have a look. But besides the things that we built last time, I also want to quickly run you through the roadmap. Namely, as you are used to, we right now have 100 plus, I'm not sure, I think it's 150 plus actions that we have within PROCESIO, and more of them are coming. Now, you notice that everything in PROCESIO is kind of configuring actions, it's kind of building fast. And one of the things we are looking is to build even faster. And yes, you have a process, which means a process can be a starting point for another process. Then why not duplicate it? So we want to offer this ability within PROCESIO for you to be able to duplicate. Then something really important, we mentioned it and we are also working on it, is the fact that we want you to give the ability to self-hosted dedicated environments for PROCESIO. JSON, always about JSON. Now you saw the logical stuff. First, we started with webhooks, being able to generate a web from a JSON, being able to generate a data model from a JSON. Now we want to be able to have an action within PROCESIO that maps a JSON to a data model. So that's something we will be working on. And let's say something is not working properly. We want to give you the ability to be able to force stop an instance inside PROCESIO. So this is what we are all working on, and much more obviously is going behind the scenes.
Yes.
One very important aspect that I want to mention is the speed of PROCESIO. Did you mention it, Andrei, or should I?
No.
Okay.
This is the moment.
Mention it.
Yeah, it's exactly as Andrei said, pum 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 pum, or how did you put it? Exactly.
That's the speed.
So every action inside PROCESIO, it takes to execute less than 80 milliseconds. It's less than then when you ping Google, for example, you will not get 80 milliseconds. So it's extremely fast. So
exactly.
what does that mean? It means that your processes are going to execute really fast. So you can execute a lot of stuff really, really, really fast.
Exactly. So probably real-time experience or something close to it, definitely. Right, guys, nothing. I'm not sure if there are any closing thoughts.
I have a closing thought.
Please go ahead.
So for me, PROCESIO 2.0, it's about performance. As Mihai said, we have less than 80 milliseconds per action execution. So it's about speed of execution, but also new capabilities and user experience, as Andrei emphasized on it. So user experience. But why is this important? Because this is what counts for the automation experts, for the operations people from the companies. We took that feedback, we adapted PROCESIO to their needs, to their request, to ease our users' pains and struggle that were generated by time-consuming and inefficient processes that they were facing. So we improve the usability of our technology so that there is less time wasted. This is important. So we wanted to reduce the cognitive load of the people using it so that they can focus on what's important for them, to build and optimize their processes and to automate what's important for them, to improve their life and to be more effective in their company. So this is PROCESIO 2.0 for me.
Exactly. If I were to summarize, this is about efficiency, UX, and probably UI. I don't know, at a very fast speed. Let's put it like that.
I would add something on that. It's also about stopping the waste of our lives, right? Because we all know how it feels to waste your life doing manual stuff, connecting things or making things more efficient manually, or processing different tasks that should not even exist, right? That means that's translated into wasting our lives doing inefficient stuff. And
stop wasting time.
Yeah, stop wasting time, use PROCESIO. And also, Razvan, thank you for putting the betterautomation.io link into the chat. We have also, meanwhile, launched a Better Automation podcast by PROCESIO, which takes world-renowned automation experts and talks with them, and they come here in front of everybody and present their experience, how they are doing automation, why is it important, what are the use cases that they are addressing, and there are really, really cool stuff. So take the time and listen to those podcasts. Are not about PROCESIO, are about automation, are about stopping the waste of our lives doing insignificant tasks.
I will add that they are about the people that are doing automation experts and business needs.
Cool.
Yes, so it's always so nice to hear you guys. I feel so proud that I'm in PROCESIO because you lifted my spirit. So PROCESIO 2.0, it seems really, really cool, and everybody should join. And also PROCESIO 2.0 is not only about the app, it's also about the podcast. We have a new website. Go on the blog, go and subscribe to our newsletter. We are waiting for you to be part of our community. And that's all, folks. See you at our next meetup.
See you. Pum 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 pum.
See you.
Thanks. That's the new motto.
Exactly.
Yes,
See
and
you guys.
Ilir will get a prize for the best questions in this meetup.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
So
let's take it on a separate discussion, Ilir.
Yes, Ilir. So just contact us. Here is my email. I have a long name. This is why. So it takes more than running PROCESIO, writing my email address. Okay. So bye and see you next time.
see you
See you
guys.
next time. Bye bye.
Bye.